National Day is coming in less than a month, and I am about to tell you that it's not a special day for celebration and it's not something for anyone to talk about. Whoever really thinks that it's a big day, they could be either living in a dream of patriotism or a nutcase. Nearly half of the citizens in Singapore are new immigrants, newly converted Singaporeans. So what's so special about National Day? Or get yourself to be so proud of being a Singaporean? It's a shame. There's nothing proud to be a Singaporean, since most Singaporeans are so stressful with their work and students with their study every day, so worried for their everyday daily expenses, and they are always fearful that they will face punishment every day if they do something wrong in their workplaces or in the public, small things like littering, or even some of them are afraid of eating even a chewing gum. What is so proud of being a Singaporean? When you know you will be working every day like a dog every time you wake up in the morning. And also a kind of dog that couldn't bark anyhow you like, but trained to be submissive, until I tell you that most Singaporeans only see and do things only one way. Only one way. They are trained to be obedient and very submissive in Singapore. I mean the local Singaporeans, not those newly converted Singaporeans or those new immigrants. I mean most local Singaporeans. And they are like blockheads, working blockheads. They could only know how to work and do things they were ordered to do without any questions. And whenever their boss tells them to do anything, whether silly or stupid, Singaporeans thinking is they should always do what they were told because they want to maintain their pathetic high pay to sustain their own living costs, to pay for the high mortgage loan for something that not belongs to them, also forced to contribute to the government CPF, the money loans for their cars or maybe credit cards, and the increasing fare for the public transportation, pay every day for their expensive, low quality meals, until to the extent they really become blockheads who are trying to secure their job pathetically, so that others who are struggling to look for a job in the market won't have a chance to replace them until they see a retrenchment that they feel sorrow and regretfulness that they could finally put the blame on the government for what they are doing. But it's already too late for them to know about it. It's like a frog boiling in the pot of water until when the time comes, it's too late. The frog is dead. Singaporeans are trained to follow orders to live comfortably in the country. Their education and also the compulsory military service for men has already trained them to live like animals that you see in the zoo. This is why there are so many yes men in many organizations in Singapore, especially in the government bodies in the world's smallest country. If you tend to argue with the authority or your bosses, your job could be jeopardized because Singaporeans has a kind of culture that bosses are always right. Singaporeans thinking is very narrow, not wide enough, and they hardly use their brains because they are conditioned not to argue with the authorities or with the teachers when they study. They only know how to complain their grievances with their friends or even in the social media on things that cost a living, on things that the mobile bills is increasing, transportation costs, how hard their lives are, and also about the freedom of speech, freedom of doing whatever they like. So they only know how to complain but not how to confront. When it comes to facing their bosses or the government, they are mostly helpless and speechless. Singaporeans are already trained to be obedient and speechless, with no power to voice out what they disagree or what they want to have when face people that are on top of them. So most Singaporeans who just continue with their blockhead daily routine life that's already set up by the government under their plan, causing them to be like a living zombie every day, who wake up in the morning for work, wait in the pathetic long queue for their lunch while worrying to find a place to eat later, then work again until very late before travel in very crowded trains, so that they could have a chance to spend at least 30 minutes of their time with their families, then take a bath to prepare for their sleep, and wake up in the next morning to start all over again. And only they are lucky enough they could get Sunday for their rest day, of which they could mostly spend at home watching television or playing computer or mobile games. The way Singapore government controlling the Singaporeans are so obvious. They make sure Singaporeans could carry on with their routine daily life and to make sure the money they earn is just enough for their survival until they have no mood and no time to disturb the government but just know how to work for life. Therefore, Singaporeans are so routine and predictable. You can see this everywhere, including the way they buy things for themselves. If you see a very long queue where a lot of people line up, they will think the food the vendors are selling is very special, that they could line up and pathetically waiting for it before they could eat at some crampy tables and sitting on hard, uncomfortable chairs. That's how pathetic they are, even though they have high salary. And how could they be happy? Singaporeans are trained to take all kinds of torture, even for eating, and that's what the authority or the government want them to become. So that they will not feel the real comfort, but just right enough so that they could continue to pay attention to carry out their routine life like blockheads. FYI, I'm talking about Singaporeans in general, because not all Singaporeans are acting this way. For me, I could not line up, stand for a long time waiting for my meal to be cooked, and then trying to find a place to eat in a very crowded area. That's so pathetic to eat something, isn't it? What is so good about having a meal that you feel yourself no different from prisoner? This is how prisoners have their food. The only difference is that the prisoners could eat for free. Well, you need to pay for it. Because of this, it turns Singaporeans to have a culture to place tissue papers or tissue packets or even their belongings on the tables visibly, to mark their reservation with the term as chop, so that they could have a place to eat their meals pathetically. Or they would get their friends seated at the tables so that they could take turns to buy their food hurriedly. So what kind of proud life are they living? More pathetic than being proud. Until they are so stressful and paranoid in their life, which Singaporeans always term themselves as Kiasu. What's so proud of being a Singaporean, a true blue Singaporean, since you couldn't have your meal like a normal human being? The main reason why many Singaporeans choose to stay at their homes playing computer games or watching televisions, or some who prefer to lie in their beds but not going out, is once they step out of their house, the stress and tension will come. Everywhere you go is not just about spending money, but also cramming yourself with millions of different kinds of people, don't know where they come from, in a very small country. Even you could afford a car, which the car is the most expensive in the world, you don't really enjoy it, not because of the high parking fees, not because of the charges that you need to give to the government, but also the pathetic way of finding a space to park your car legally. And some drivers I could see, it could take them about 1 hour to find a parking lot. So what's so proud about Singaporeans? Since the life is so pathetic, you may learn that Singapore is the wealthiest country in the world, but the people living there, I mean the locals, most of them, can be the most pathetic creatures in the world. I don't really bother what you like what I say. In Singapore, only the very rich, especially those very rich immigrants or aliens, could really taste the enjoyment that these pathetic Singaporeans has already made for them. And this is what is really happening in Singapore. The very rich from other countries are migrating to Singapore, get a new citizenship, their rights to enjoy in Singapore for as long as they want, and the government treat them like some kind of God of fortune and welcome them wholeheartedly, while Singaporeans are still living in a pathetic routine life. So tell me, what's so good and what's so proud of being a true blue Singaporean? Proud to work for the government or proud to serve the very rich people? This is why I said pathetic and speechless. Remember to subscribe, like and share my channel, and also watch my other videos. See ya!